Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Worldwide In Flight. Today I just want to go ahead and start by doing a quick video. Here a lot of people are talking about on YouTube how to obtain a CJO and how to go to a face-to-face. However, there's a lot of airlines right now, they're doing all the legacy airlines, they're in hiring mode. All they're doing is hiring, accepting application, putting the hiring on hold while they catch up with all the applications, then go back on and cherry picking their employees or future employees. Spirit also is airline that I recommend everyone to be on the lookout for. It's a carrier that's pretty much you can consider fairly new. It's a low cost airline, however it's a major airline, but these people are taking all these customers. I mean, the flights are full all the time. They're 100% full. It's an incredible airline. They have come a long way. A lot of us have heard, even myself, I remember a few years ago, I would hear people talking about Spirit. Oh no, but this is Spirit, that. I didn't know what Spirit, and I would just go by what people would say, without myself knowing exactly what was Spirit all about. However, I already know what Spirit is. Pretty much, I know the inside out of Spirit. I know from the customer point of view and also from the inside. It's an excellent airline. It's becoming better every day, and like I said before, they're coming a long way. The airline right now, they just purchased 100 new airplanes, and not least, they purchased them, which is a difference. That means they're doing pretty good. They got a $250 million headquarters they're building up that should be in less than 2 years. It already went by the other day by Miramar in Florida. That's in Fort Lauderdale area right there. And they got a lot of the buildings already up and running. So this is going to be a tremendous airline. A lot of people, there's rumors out there that it might be purchased by a legacy carrier. Who knows? I'm pretty sure, like everything else, if the money's right, I'm pretty sure the shareholders, they're the one that have the final say, and they're the one that are going to decide yes or no. But whatever it is, it's an excellent airline right now. I'm just going to show you a few tricks for those customers, and also for those who want to become part of the best airline out there, and Spirit Airline as well. Not just Spirit, another airline. Sometimes the same thing that legacy airlines ask, that's the same thing Spirit is going to require of you. You're going to go to a big event, and in that event, they expect from you to have excellent customer service. And believe me, those recruiters, they know if you have it or not. They just got to ask you maybe one, perhaps the most, two questions. They will know if you're qualified or not. So just want to let you know real quick from a customer point of view or stand. Just keep in mind that every time the Spirit has this fares that are already very low, and if you see a fare anywhere you're heading to, you see them for, let's say, $80, $100 round trip somewhere, Chicago to Orlando, $100. And you see that fare for $100. Just want to let you know, you go to the ticket counter, and if you've seen that price that day, no matter if it's for a future day that you're going to buy that ticket, $100, and you go to the ticket counter, it's cheaper. So just keep that in mind. From a customer point of view, if you find a ticket and you go to the counter, it's going to be cheaper than buying it online through Spirit.com. You have to go to the Spirit ticket counter at the airport, and it will be lower. That's a policy they have. Why? I don't know. It's something marketing. I don't deal with marketing, but that's a pretty good darn thing. Because if you go to any other major carrier out there, if you go to the ticket counter, usually it's more. And on they just leave the discount prices for the web. However, it's different here. Another thing, just want to let you know real quick how the process work. The process of becoming a flight attendant. Later on, I'm going to do a video of how you become a pilot, or the programs that we have in place to become a pilot. Was the quickest and fastest way, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm becoming a pilot, and going to be doing the 2 years showing the new hire pilots how to fly the Airbus, and from there I'll be with seniority on the right seat of the Airbus. But that's going to be on another video. And right now I just want to show a lot of people that are looking for Spirit or are with Spirit right now and want to work for Spirit, and they don't know how, or they want to be flight attendant, but they don't know how. Right now, Spirit is one of the best airline out there. Why? Because not just hiring 150 flight attendants per month. It's hiring for the next year. It's going to be hiring about, this whole year is going to be every month. There's going to be new flight attendant classes, and they're going to be hiring about 100 to 150 flight attendants per event. There's an event coming up in Dallas, so if you want to be part of that, I recommend, or the city near you, you go to spirit.com. You go to their website, go to careers. You can go about us right there, and you will find the job opportunity site right there, link, and fill up the application. And it's gonna ask you to do an assessment test. Everybody knows what's an assessment test, and you do that. And once you do your assessment, and they want to make sure you can score, you probably won't know what's the score, but once the computer sends the assessment test to the HR department, then if you have scored high enough on that assessment test, then they'll send you an invitation to a big event, which it could be the next one, which is going to be in Dallas or another city, and then you will have to fly there. One thing that a Spirit does different, or is doing different now, in that event is it's a whole day event. So plan to be there for the whole day. You're not gonna go there just for an interview. Everything is gonna be done that day. As you qualify and progress throughout the day, keep in mind, Spirit would not pay for the ticket, and that's a pretty good thing, because a lot of airlines, the airline is paying for the ticket, and they're moving to that. All the airlines are moving to not paying the ticket, because they pay the ticket a lot of times, and a lot of employees or people, they are still not ready or know if they want to continue with this job. So by the time they figure out, oh, I'm not ready, you know how much the airline has invested in you. So I think that's a good sign. And that's a positive thing that the airline is doing, that you will have to pay your way all the way up to training. Once they hire you and they give you a CJO, then they'll give you a ticket to go to training. They pay for the training, they pay for hotel, everything. They even give you a credit card so you can eat 3 times a day, and you'll be set. However, just so you know, if you pass the assessment test, they'll send you an invitation to go to this big event where you will have to take your passport, copy of your photocopy of your passport, license, social security, all that information, your high school diploma, all that, college, if you have a college. For those with college degrees, then you just take, that's all you have to do, take your degree, photocopy of it. Once you're there, I recommend that you get there, especially depending where is this event. Fort Lauderdale, you better be there by 3 or 4 in the morning, because by the time you get there, there's probably gonna be 5, 6, 7 people there. Even though the application says 7 a.m., those who get there or are always running late, those people would not make it, because they would get turned back, because after so many, there's only an X amount, I don't know if it's 500 or 600 people that are allowed to go in the building. Once that is done, they won't, or they exceed that number, or if 7 comes first, 7 a.m., they cut off whatever that line is at 7 a.m. And those who are behind on the line or outside, they will not make it in the building. So my recommendation, get in, pay your hotel, buy your ticket, get there, wake up early, take an Uber to the convention center, wherever they're gonna have it, and go ahead and go looking at real sharp. You have to look at your best. One recommendation from previous experience that I've seen, a lot of people, they think they're going to the club. You're not going to the club, people. You need to understand that this is a professional job. And the recruiters, besides the recruiters, there's going to be a lot of people looking at you. Besides recruiters, there's going to be employees, ambassadors that are going to be paying attention to every move, every detail that you do. And for some reason, you have a number that it will show, and a color that that's number that would, with that number, they'll know who you are. And if you're acting or doing something or not addressed properly, you're not gonna make it. You won't pass. So I just recommend that if you gonna go to the interview, make sure you look at your best. You have to look sharp. Spirit is looking for people who are professional in their appearance, and that are professional also in customer service. So I recommend that you look at your best. Remember, you're not going to the club. You're not going to the pool. This is not a bikini contest, neither a fashion show. You just got to look professional. Business attire is business attire. And make sure you dress like that. Again, this is not about dressing, but I just want to emphasize that you have to dress really nice. The one thing you want to make sure, and that I know, nobody wants to be figuring out how this fly, is this person gonna look, how this person gonna look with the uniform. You want to look, even though you're not go with the same colors, you don't have to wear black and yellow, but whatever you wear, that you want to make sure you look professional, because when you wear that uniform, you have to wear that uniform proudly. You want to make sure, and the airline wants to make sure that you are representing. You're the face of the airline. So I want to make sure that, and let you know right now ahead of time, if you want that CJO that day, you need to be professional and look sharp, very sharp. That's what it's all about. And they would tell you 100 times before everything starts. If you don't want to look sharp, you will know. And unfortunately, you won't pass the first step. So once you get there, you go into a big room. Just want to let you know, you go into a big room. I'm gonna fast forward, and once you get in that room, they're gonna give you some instructions. There's gonna be that famous fishbowl. It's not necessarily a fishbowl, but it's where there's a lot of different cards, and behind it there's different questions. One of the question is like, I remember for me it was, tell us about a skill that you brought with you today. And I talked about the skill that I brought. I brought a lot of them that day, but I remember I talked to them about patience and a little bit about listening. And I know it was one, tell us about a skill, they said, but I want to mix together patience and listening, because they go hand to hand. And I spoke a little bit about that. They want to know, to see how you project your voice. Also, they want to know if you can follow instructions. They were very specific. When you get to here, greet, get a card, greet, say your number, get a card, read it, put it back down on the table, and don't put it back on the fishbowl, put it back on the table, and then say your answer. Look at, of course, at the crowd when you're, imagine if I'm doing a video like this. No, because, you know, guys, you have to, when you get to the fishbowl, what kind of video is this, you know? You look at the person in the eye contact, and that's what they're looking. So you want to look at the crowd, and you want to look at the recruiters, and they want to make sure you can project your voice. If you're like, yes, because I came today and I brought patients with me, you know, they're not gonna hire you. Just remember that. They don't want no monotone voice, even if they don't tell you. But I'm letting you know, they want to make sure that you can project your voice. They want to make sure that you can talk loud. If we're gonna evacuate that airplane, they want to make sure that when you're evacuating the airplane, your commands can be heard. It's gonna be loud. There's gonna be noise, smoke, everything running. Depending what emergency is. But you want to make sure, come this way, jump slide, come this. You know, they don't want come this way, jump slide. You know, so I just want to let you know that's what they're looking for. Um, they're thinking always about the future. So project your voice and follow the instructions. Don't do what a lot of people did. They went with mini skirts. They went with almost, I mean, it was just ridiculous. It's not even worth saying it. But you have to look professional. And also do as they say and don't put the car back in the bowl. Make sure you follow the instructions. You can't follow those simple instructions. That means you're not going to follow the instructions that you're going to be given while you're in training and once you're out on the line. And this is a job that is it's not micromanaged, you know, and you're pretty much on your own out there. And if the airline can't trust you, sorry, you won't get it. So you have to be responsible and follow the instructions and do as they say. Just want to give you an advice, project your voice. You want to talk about customer service, your experience. You want to project you want to sell yourself. That's whatever that question is. Yes, they want to see your voice. They want to see how you look. They want to see if you can follow instructions. But everything you do, keep this in mind. I'll round it up to your customer service and what the question is asking you. So they asked me about what a skill that I brought. I talked to them about patience and listening, and I also let them know that when you have patience, you'll be able to listen to the customer, and once you listen to the customer, that will show the customer that you care. And that will solve a lot of issues with customer, and by your having patience and listening. And I brought that with me. I let them know that day. I remember I told them, and that's one skill that I brought with me, patience, and I'm gonna have a lot of patience and with me throughout this whole process, and everything went well. Everybody has to have their own answer, but you have to be prepared. You cannot go there unprepared. Once that step is over, then they ask you again. They'll read the numbers, people to step out that didn't make it or that are not going to move on to the next process. Then the one who stay in the room, they made it to the next process. And then that's when we get to do the face-to-face interview. I was luckily that I passed on to, and they saw something good in me. So definitely, I was able to move to the next step. Once the next step is your CJO, pretty much, because that face to face, that's when you're gonna talk to a recruiter or an HR personnel, whoever, or an ambassador, and from there. You have to really sell yourself. I cannot give you the answer because it won't be accurate, nor I can tell you what questions they're asking. But general question, and you can go to Glassdoor's and Indeed website and go in there and you can see a lot of the questions and how to answer questions. But one thing you need to know, you already have the experience. That's why you're applying for this job, because you already have dealt with customer through the different years of customer service that you have behind your belt. So the only thing you need to learn is how to do the task format. You know, what was the task, the action, you know, that you took, you know, how you resolved it, you know, and as long as you can answer that in a STAR method. And if you don't know what STAR method is, again, go search answers, because sometimes reading it, a lot of people are not about reading. Others are about audio. That's how they listen. Others are visual. So go to YouTube and put STAR method questions and learn. It doesn't have to be airline. You could be anything and talk about your experience, because that's all they want to know. They want to know if you're responsible. They want to know if you will be willing to resolve issues. Another thing that Spirit is looking for is when they're hiring someone, they want to make sure that that you are going to represent them correctly, and they would know not just because your resume says that, but based on the questions. Based on the question they ask you and you answer them. They want to see how you handle previous situations before in the past. So again, look at some videos on STAR method, but that's pretty much the steps. It's really the first step when you go into the interview. I just want to let you know is the instructions, following instructions, projecting your voice, and how you are dressed. And depending on the answer, you have to include there a little bit about you. You know, especially um, uh, when it's more a personal or direct question from the fishbowl. Once you're with the recruiter, you have to sell yourself. Especially, I hear a lot of people talking about themselves when they ask them, tell me a little bit about you. Don't sell yourself only. Or about you and your family. Oh, I'm from this country. I got this. I went to this college. I got this degree, and I'm married. I got kids, so I don't have kids. I'm looking for a wife. No, they don't want to hear none of that. They you could add a little bit of that, very little. Add that, excuse me, and add very little of that. But you want to go into your years of service. Yes, you can say, for example, in my case, the way I would answer, tell me a little bit about yourself. Yeah, well, right now I live in Houston. I'm a man that, I'm a family man. I have 2 boys, and they're teenagers, which are very supportive of my career. And also want to let you know that I have about 20 years of customer service. I've been in the airline industry for this long, and you know, you want to tell them something like that. I've been in the airline industry. If you, of course, in your case, if you're being in the automobile or in the customer service, I've been in the customer service industry for this long, and I make sure that when I come in contact with a customer, I create a memorable, positive experience. I like to listen to the customer because I'm a problem solver. And by listening to the customer, then I'm able to provide them with and assist them with what they need. That was just an example. So you could say something like that, but don't focus yourself on things about your life, your family, not so much. They just want to know, tell me about yourself is really telling you a little bit about how it's going to benefit you, your customer service, your years of customer service with the job that you are applying. And that's what that question comes out to. So they could probably going to ask you about 5 questions that day. If they ask you 5 questions because they're interested in you and they see something positive that they think or want that they know that you can be a flight attendant. Also, recruiters, they're looking for if they put themselves with you right there. Okay, this person, if he's a flight attendant, we're doing a trip together. Are we going to be able to work together? If they think or don't believe or you don't give that image that you guys can fly together, or you know, if you give them the wrong appearance that you guys cannot fly together in that jumpsuit, they won't hire you. Because if it's the same thing with me, if I'm doing the hiring event and I think you and I will not get along on the jumpsuit, definitely you're not gonna get along with the rest of the flight attendant, and they're looking for that too. So just a heads up, again, be prepared with your answers. Be prepared, know a little bit about the airline. At least know that we are the airline in the industry with the youngest fleet in the industry, not in the not within Spirit, but in the industry with the youngest fleet. We just ordered 100 airplanes of our own from Airbus Neo Aircraft. Those airplanes can now go a little further now and save more fuel. So it's a very nice aircraft, very comfortable seats, especially the middle seat. It's got about an inch bigger. So it's real nice. I'm gonna see if I can show you a video of that aircraft, and so you guys can see what Spirit is doing out there. They're doing an excellent job again. They have come a long way, and it's an airline that is growing, and it's growing mighty fast. It's also the biggest U.S. carrier that goes to Colombia. There's not another carrier that has more flights to Colombia or different cities. We fly to the most cities in Colombia. Is Spirit Airlines. So it's a good airline to come in. The pay, yeah, the pay is compatible. You're not gonna have a problem with that. Also, you're not gonna have a problem with reserve like other airlines that are the waiting years, depending on their basis, is 10-15 years on reserve. So you're not gonna have that. You're gonna be the max you're probably gonna be on reserve. It's maybe a year and a half to 2 years, depending on the basis. But that's not a problem. So I wish you the best. Come and fly for Spirit Airline. They're a pretty good airline to work for, and they treat their flight attendants really good. So I recommend you to go ahead and apply. If you're looking at this video, again, the most important thing, forget about, oh, well, I've seen other videos where they tell me about the clothes. No, I don't need to tell you what's professional. I don't need to talk about what's a tie. Of course, you got to know. You got to go trim. Number one, then also another thing that I was almost forgetting that is very important for Spirit and a lot of airlines out there, make sure you don't have no visible tattoos. If you have any visible tattoos, ear, nose piercing, or any of that stuff, take it off, rip it off, or yank it off. But don't go with that because you will not get hired, because that's company policy, and it just, that's how it will stand. It won't, no matter what it is, who it is, how, why, it won't go through. So just want to make sure you go ready, have a nice resume, have your answers ready based on your customer service experience and how can they help. And also, if you have a safety background, or that's the number one, because a lot of people, they get confused what a flight attendant is. They get confused that flight attendant is there just to serve drinks and snacks. That's not what a flight attendant is. That's not what Spirit flight attendants are there for. They're there for safety of the customers. Make sure that they can be transported from point A to point B in very safe, in a safety manner. So that's what the airline or flight attendants are there for. And throughout training, you will learn all this, and you will see that. And after training is done, you will realize, wow, I really thought flight attendants had it easy. No, they don't.